Hi guys, it's good to see you again today. So, today I will be talking about how you will have to impress an interviewer during an interview. So, first and foremost, you have to be very confident. And if you are confident, it means you will produce valid results. So, the first and most important thing is preparation. Why? Because an interview is the only opportunity that you have to talk to the employer, displaying your skills. It can be virtual or physical. So, most importantly, you have to plan the clothes for the day. A day before, a week before, ensure that you won't be looking for buttons on the day. You won't realize that, oh, the shirt is not ironed on the day, or I can't find my tie. Just prepare your clothes before the interview. Dress the way you want to be addressed. For a physical interview, ensure that for ladies, your skirts are long enough to sit across the interviewers, because some interviewers hold circle interviews. So imagine in your short dress trying to sit properly, then you end up losing confidence. Why? Because you are trying to make the other person comfortable. At the same time, you need to answer the interview questions. It becomes very difficult for you. And for males, ensure that you dress in the way that do not provoke the interviewer. For example, dropped pants. Some men like dropping their pants and it can affect the interviewer. So just for the day, ensure that the way you're dressing is appealing. You must also practice common questions. For example, tell us about yourself. Those are very simple questions that you have to practice. It's not about telling them where you did your grade 7, where you did your washing. No, it's about presenting yourself. That is the question which determines if you can get the job or not. Also, check the interview location or platform. Like I said, it can be virtual or it can be physical. So for physical interviews, ensure that you know the place and you get there as early as possible. Sometimes you think you know the place, then you realize no, it's at the back of the building that you thought it is, and you have to go around the street and your minutes are over. So ensure you leave your house as early as possible so that you wait for the interviewer, not for the interviewer to wait for you. And for virtual interviews, it's very important to know the platform that you will be using. For example, nowadays it's very common to use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and others. Are you familiar with them? Do you know how they work? Do you know how you will maneuver until you are accepted in the interview? You have to know all that. You have to practice using those platforms. And also ensure that you are also punctual. Sometimes you try to maneuver and end up getting late for the interview. So also ensure that your gadget is compatible for the platform. Some gadgets are not compatible. I just want to tell you a little joke. I tried to log in with my old phone back when I was home, and it wasn't compatible for Microsoft Teams. So I had to use my laptop because definitely my phone couldn't accommodate Microsoft Teams. So it happens during interviews. So practice using those platforms regularly until you master how you will use them during the interview day. And this helps you to be punctual. Then, the most important thing, being enthusiastic. Not everyone is enthusiastic. When someone asks you about their company, you say, I just know a bit. When you're given the opportunity to talk about the company which you wish to be hired by, show that you know it. All those nitty gritties, that's part of enthusiasm. Show that you have researched about the job. and the job needs. You know what you are applying for. Imagine they want a high school, maybe Form 4, 5 maths teacher, and when they ask you questions, you are answering about Form 1 and Form 2 teacher job. Imagine how embarrassing it is. Definitely you will lose the job because you will not have met the needs of the interview. And during the interview, keep eye contact, because eye contact also shows that you're telling the truth and shows that you are ready for the interview. You know, when you are sitting, you must also keep your hands where they are seen, especially for virtual interviews and even for physical interviews. Ensure that you are not fidgetive. The moment you get fidgetive, it will affect the interviewer. Also, sit up straight so that don't show to be too lazy or too tired. As an interviewee, ensure that you mirror the speed of the interviewer. Whoa. This means when the interviewer is high, be high. When the interviewer is calm, you must also be calm like seawater. Sometimes you're too high and your interviewer is too low, then it affects the way you answer the questions. It affects the interviewer, him or herself, because your pace will be too higher for him or your pace would be too low for him. So ensure you mirror the interviewer's pace. If it's virtual, ensure that you find a place with a clear background and a quiet location. You know, let me give you this little story that happened when I was looking for a job in a certain company. So it was like we were 4 in the interview and we were using Microsoft Teams. It was a video. So one of the interviewees had a chameleon on the table, and the interviewer was always frowning. So every time when that interviewee wanted to say something, the interviewer would frown, and definitely the interviewee didn't see that the interviewer didn't like the chameleon. So we continued until the interview ended, and I was also looking aside. The other 2 interviewees were also showing that phobia, that fear. So it was like a very bad experience for everyone. And you know what? We had to proceed to the second interview. The person didn't proceed because of the chameleon. And the interviewer then said, I couldn't proceed with her because she is insensitive. How could she come with a chameleon? A chameleon is scary. So remember, our likes are not everyone's likes. So just make sure that your chameleon, your snake pet, your cat, your dog are well behaved during the interview. And also ensure that there are no hangings on the wall. Imagine the interviewer seeing bras and pants behind you, or nude pictures, or other disturbing pictures. It's so hard for interviewers. So if you don't know how to, or if you don't have any other clear space, you can blur your background. There is an option for most of the platforms used for interviews. They allow you to blur the background. So if you don't want to remove your things, just blur the background. All right. So this is interesting. This is an interesting topic. And during the interview, ensure that you use formal English. Those people who are like, I gotta do this. It's not every interview that needs slang. Sometimes it needs you to make good sentences, probably because your job needs very good English. And imagine you will be using, I'm kind of tired, I gotta do this, I want to know, I'll be luck. It will be a definite failure for this type of behavior, for this kind of behavior. Not all jobs expect you to talk to the interviewer like that. And just remember, during your interview, an interview is a formal dialogue with the prospective employer. So just be formal as well until further notice, and avoid lying about who you are. Some people will exaggerate their experience. Some people will exaggerate even their looks. Some people will also lie about their experience. You know, the challenge about lying is that you will end up forgetting. Maybe you are asked 30 minutes later, then you forget whatever you said and you mix up the ideas. And definitely it will piss off the interviewer. Therefore, you have to say exactly who you are. You divulge correct information about you to the employer, to the interviewer. And for virtual ones, avoid like shifting your eyes. Doing this, I'm reading, of course, so shifting your eyes from the interviewer will piss off the interviewer. So ensure that you have your points on the fingertips so that you do not piss off your interviewer. Sometimes people use AI to prepare for their interviews, but guys, AI is very good. However, how you use it becomes questionable. Some people will be the AI themselves. They even forget about themselves. Imagine you are being asked, how do you deal with this? Then you end up saying, the technician will be dealing with this, like blah, 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 blah. Ensure during an interview you prepare with AI, but you fine tune it. You ensure that it suits you. You put your personal experiences, you put a personal touch in everything that you find on Google. So guys, today I just hope you will nail it during the interview. Just remember to be you, dress the way you want to be addressed, use proper English, and also be enthusiastic. Until we meet again, bye.